Chosen one, this message found you right on time, because your exit has already been written. They laughed when you disappeared. They called it failure, retreat, or weakness. But they don't know what heaven saw. Just like Enoch, you were never meant to stay. You were never meant to fit into a broken world. You were never meant to blend into the noise. You were set apart from the beginning, marked for something higher. People say, if you're chosen, why are you alone? But they forget, the chosen are hidden before they're revealed. You weren't made to survive in this system. You were made to rise above it. God never let Enoch taste death, because his purpose was too sacred for the earth to contain. Just like you, when your time comes, it won't be a fall. It will be a flight. You won't vanish in silence. You'll disappear into destiny. They'll search for you in old places, but you'll already be gone. Lifted, sealed, carried by purpose into the unknown. So don't chase acceptance. Don't beg to stay where your soul doesn't belong. You were designed to leave. Not because you're weak, but because you're different. Keep moving. Keep trusting. Because your chosen flight is coming. And nothing can stop it. They won't understand why your energy started fading from their rooms. Why your words became fewer. Why your silence grew louder. But you'll know. You'll know it wasn't depression, it was disconnection. You were unplugging from a realm you were never truly tied to. Heaven was calling, and your spirit started answering long before your body followed. The friendships started breaking. The noise became unbearable. The spotlight lost its thrill, because something inside you whispered, "This is not it." You tried to fight it, tried to act normal, tried to stay, but the pull kept getting stronger, like gravity in reverse, pulling you not down but up. People will label you cold, distant, detached. Let them. They don't know that chosen ones detach to ascend. Your spirit is packing bags that your hands can't see. You're being prepared for a disappearance with purpose. Just like Enoch, you won't need a funeral. Because your life won't end, it will transform. Your vanishing won't be an escape. It will be a promotion. This is why you couldn't hold on to people. Why no one could stay long. Why your soul felt homesick even while surrounded. Because the world was a waiting room, never a destination. And now the time is near. You're not losing yourself. You're finally becoming who you've always been. You used to wonder why the spotlight never stayed on you. Why others were celebrated while you were forgotten. But now you see. You weren't overlooked. You were protected. Heaven didn't want the world to touch what it hadn't earned. You weren't built for applause. You were built for ascension. Every delay was divine. Every closed door was a shield. Because your elevation required isolation. The crowd could never go where you're being taken. Remember, even Enoch walked alone before he vanished. He wasn't surrounded. He wasn't praised. He was hidden because he was holy. Chosen ones like you carry silence like a prophecy. Your quiet seasons are not empty. They are sacred. They are where wings are formed. So when they say, "What happened to you? Where did you go?" smile, because they'll never know the cost of your calling. They weren't there when you cried without reason, when your chest felt heavy with purpose, when your prayers sounded like whispers from another realm. You were never losing your mind. You were gaining your mission. The world thought you were fading, but really, you were rising in silence. Every sleepless night, every unseen tear, every moment you felt like a ghost in your own life. It was never wasted. It was training. You weren't broken. You were being separated, marked for a journey that doesn't need maps or validation. Others chase stages. You were called to walk with shadows and stars, because your destiny was never tied to popularity. It was tied to presence, God's presence. You started seeing signs others ignored. You felt heaviness in rooms others danced in. You noticed the fake smiles, heard the lies hidden in laughter. Why? Because the veil was lifting for you, revealing the truth beneath the noise. Chosen one, your eyes weren't just opening. They were being anointed to see what most will never see, to hear what most will never hear, to know when it's time to go. They'll say you ghosted them, but spirits don't ghost. They ascend, and when your name stops echoing in their world, it will start thundering in heaven. This world taught you how to survive, but God is teaching you how to disappear on purpose. Not to escape, but to enter what they can't imagine. You never fit in their boxes, because you weren't made in their system. You were crafted in silence, woven in the unseen, fashioned by a fire this world couldn't touch. That's why their compliments felt empty. Their parties felt loud but lonely. Their paths felt crooked to your spirit, even when everyone else called them straight. You questioned yourself for years. Why can't I just be normal? But chosen ones were never called to be normal. They were called to be set apart. You saw signs in the sky that others missed. You heard warnings in your dreams. You felt divine restlessness in your bones, long before anything changed on the outside. And now the shift has begun. You feel it. The detachment. The release. The invisible hand pulling you from the familiar. Your old identity is crumbling. Not because you're losing it, but because it can't fly where you're going. You are shedding your earth skin. The labels, the wounds, the roles. Everything that was never yours to carry. Chosen one, you're not fatting. You're transitioning. You're not being abandoned. You're being called higher. This world isn't your destination. It was your training ground. And now the countdown has begun. You feel the distance growing, don't you? Not just from people, but from the noise of it all. The distractions. The drama. The chaos that once pulled you in, now pushes you away. Because elevation demands separation. Not everyone can go where you're going. Not everything can survive at the altitude you're rising to. The higher you're called, the quieter it gets. And in that silence, God speaks loudest. He's been speaking to you through closed doors, through sudden endings, through shifts you didn't ask for but deeply needed. Every friendship that faded, every plan that failed, was heaven's way of saying, you're not meant to land here. And now your soul is starting to agree. You're not bitter. You're not broken. You're just done pretending this world was ever your home. Chosen one, you are the proof that obedience still exists. That surrender still has power. That disappearing isn't always running. Sometimes it's arriving at a place only the Spirit could lead you. You're stepping out of what was and into what always was. Not a spotlight, not a stage, but a dimension only the chosen can enter. The signs have been around you for years. The dreams that felt too real. The repeated numbers. The gut feelings that saved you. You weren't imagining it. You were being prepared. You felt like a misfit because you were one. A misfit in the world of the seen, but a perfect fit in the plans of the unseen. Heaven didn't just mark you. It tracked you. Every detour, every heartbreak, every breakdown, it was all a part of the map. While others rushed to build empires, You were being taught how to walk through fire. You were forged in pain, sharpened in silence, humbled in hiding, because the crown you're about to carry can't sit on just any head. And now the old version of you is collapsing. The one that tolerated nonsense, that stayed quiet when truth burned in your chest, that shrunk to make others comfortable. That version can't go with you. That version doesn't belong on the flight manifest. Because your vanishing won't be random. It will be surgical, precise, ordained. There will be no warning, no announcement, just absence. And in that absence, your real legacy begins. They'll scroll through your old photos, replay old messages, try to figure out when you changed. But they'll never know. You didn't just change. You were activated. Something deep inside you woke up. A divine signal hit your spirit. And what once felt normal suddenly became unbearable. The noise, the gossip, the distractions. It all started to feel too small for your soul. You stopped arguing, stopped explaining, stopped proving. Because chosen ones don't debate with gravity. They rise. You were never here to convince people. You were here to confuse darkness with your light, to disrupt cycles with your silence, to shake systems by simply walking away. You've been misjudged because your story is still being written. And God always writes in secret before he reveals in glory. The vanishing is the unveiling. No more shrinking to fit rooms you were sent to outgrow. No more lingering in timelines that expired seasons ago. No more apologizing for feeling too much, or seeing what others refuse to acknowledge. Your frequency has shifted. Your soul is vibrating on a wavelength that cannot be explained, only witnessed. And those who mocked your distance will one day envy your elevation. They'll say you changed overnight. But they didn't see the nights you cried in silence, the days you questioned your sanity, the inner war between staying visible and becoming eternal. You were wrestling with an invisible God while walking through a very visible world, smiling on the outside, while your spirit stood at the edge of heaven, ready to take off. You weren't losing passion. You were losing permission to keep living below your calling. Chosen one, this is not burnout. It's breakthrough. Your mind has outgrown fear. Your heart has outgrown comfort. Your vision has outgrown the opinions of those who only see with their eyes. You no longer crave the spotlight. You crave alignment. You crave what can't be posted, what can't be clapped for, what can't be stolen. And that's why your presence is fading. Not because you're hiding, but because you're being hidden by heaven. This world doesn't get to watch this part. This part is sacred. This part is for the ones who have been called to disappear before they rise. There's a reason your spirit feels heavy in places that once felt light. Why conversations feel shallow. Why rooms feel colder even when they're full. It's not rejection. It's redirection. The people who once energized you now drain you. The goals you once chased now bore you. Because elevation rewires your desires. You're no longer drawn to noise. You're pulled by presence. Stillness has become your sanctuary. Peace has become your confirmation. You've stopped explaining your absence. Because those who need an explanation were never meant to follow you. The chosen don't send goodbyes. They leave echoes. Your silence is not emptiness. It's instruction. A message from the divine. It's time to move unseen. You're not late. You're not behind. You're simply stepping into a realm where clocks don't matter, only timing does. And now heaven is on schedule. The shift is irreversible. Your detachment is complete, and soon they won't be asking, "Where did you go?" They'll be whispering, "What just happened?" You'll walk into a room and feel invisible, not because you're ignored, but because your frequency no longer registers in low places. Your spirit is vibrating in a realm that human eyes can't measure. That's why they don't recognize you anymore. You're not who you were, and you'll never be that version again. Not after what you've seen, not after what you've survived, not after what's been revealed to you in the dark. You used to beg for clarity. Now you move with conviction. You used to seek validation. Now you carry confirmation. Every door that didn't open, every hand that let go, every plan that crumbled, was the divine stripping away what couldn't fly. Only the weightless rise. You were never built for the crowd. You were designed for the cloud. The glory cloud. The presence. The secret place where chosen ones are prepared before they are revealed without warning. You are proof that separation is not punishment. It's preparation. God is not hiding you to hurt you. He's hiding you to launch you. And when He lifts the veil, no one will be able to trace how you got there. Because vanishing was never about escaping. It was about becoming undeniable. They won't find footprints. No breadcrumbs. No trail to follow. Because where you're going, there is no map, only permission. You're not ascending on talent. Not rising by connection. You're being moved by divine instruction. Too holy for platforms. Too sacred for stages. Your silence has become your armor. Your absence your announcement. Because when chosen ones vanish, it's not a retreat. It's a release. You're being untangled from everything false. Every imitation. Every idol. Everything that diluted your identity. Because you're not called to reflect the world. You're called to interrupt it. The tension you feel isn't confusion. It's your wings pushing through. The ache in your spirit. That's purpose activating in silence. And while others are building brands, you're building altars. While they chase visibility, you're chasing the voice. The one who called you out, set you apart, and now whispers, "You're almost ready." Spotlight they chase would only blind you. You were never meant to perform. You were meant to transform. That's why you outgrew every title they gave you. Why every label felt like a cage. You weren't made to be defined by them. You were made to be unexplainable. You've walked through fires that didn't leave ashes. Storms that didn't drown you. They baptized you. Sanctified you. Prepared you to move where logic ends and faith begins. Chosen one, you no longer wait for permission. You move when heaven speaks. You no longer seek signs. You are the sign. A walking contradiction to the world's systems. A divine interruption to everything ordinary. They'll wonder why you left without notice. Why your presence became memory. But your exit was never for their understanding. It was for God's timing. And now you're too aligned to be distracted. Too awake to be deceived. Too anointed to stay grounded. You are moving like Enoch. Not running. Not hiding. But rising unseen. Into the very place you were always meant to reach. They won't be able to recreate your path. Because your path was never made by man. It was carved by obedience. Step by silent step. Each one led by whispers only the chosen can hear. You didn't need a crowd to confirm it. You didn't need applause to validate it. Because you knew deep down that your vanishing would speak louder than your presence ever could. You were never addicted to attention. You were addicted to alignment. That's why it hurt to stay where your spirit had already left. Why pretending started to feel like betrayal. Why fitting in started to feel like shrinking. God didn't raise you up to blend in. He raised you to disrupt. Not with noise, but with absence that echoes through dimensions. They'll say you changed. But it wasn't change. It was release. A breaking of everything false, so the real could finally rise. You were never meant to follow patterns. You were sent to break them. You were never meant to climb ladders. You were called to ascend dimensions. And now the world you once tried to belong to can no longer contain the magnitude of who you've become. So now, don't look back. Don't explain. Don't dim. The vanishing has already begun. Your spirit is rising ahead of your steps. Heaven is opening doors your hands won't even touch. Because this isn't effort. This is elevation. You don't owe this world another version of yourself. You owe God your becoming. Chosen one. Step out of the noise. Out of the fake timelines. Out of the survival mode that kept you small. Let them wonder. Let them search. Let them question what happened to you. Because the answer is too holy for words. You are not being removed. You are being revealed differently. So walk. Disappear. Ascend. Without fear. Without announcement. Without delay. The ones who are truly chosen don't ask for permission to rise. They just vanish and become unstoppable. This is your chosen flight. Take it. Now.